Om. Om. गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ ॐ हर 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 ॐ नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमस्ताम्राय चारुणाय च नमः शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च नम उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे वधाय च दूरे वधाय च नमो हन्त्रे च कनीयसे च नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्ताराय नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च नमस्तेऽर्थ्याय च कूल्याय च नमः पार्याय च वाच्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय चोत्तरणाय च नम आतार्याय चालार्याय च नमः षष्ट्याय च फेन्याय च नमः सिकत्याय च प्रवाक्याय च नमः हिरण्याय च प्रपथ्याय च नमः किगुं शिलाय च क्षयणाय च नमः कपर्दिने च पुलस्तये च नमो गोष्ठ्याय च गृह्याय च नमः स्थल्प्याय च गेक्याय च नमः काट्याय च गक्वरेष्ठाय च नमो हृदयाय च निवेश्याय च नमः पागुं सव्याय च रजस्याय च नमः शुष्क्याय च करित्याय च नमो लोप्याय चोलप्याय च नमः भूर्व्याय च सूर्म्याय च नमः पर्ण्याय च पर्णसद्याय च नमोपगुरमाणाय चाभिघ्नते च नमः आखिदते च प्रखिदते च नमो किरिकेभ्यो देवानागं हृदयेभ्यो नमो विक्षीणकेभ्यो नमो विचिन्वत्केभ्यो नम आनिर्घतेभ्यो नम आमि वत्केभ्यः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Let us all be together. Let us all be nourished together. Let us all work together with great vigor. May our studies shine and illumine our intellects. May we not hate each other. Let there be peace, peace, and peace. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Sai Ram, Hari Om, Namaste. Offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Yesterday happened to be a very auspicious day. Every day is auspicious, but some days you have this incredible conglomeration of the energy that comes from so many fields. Yesterday happened to be the celebration of Tripura Sundari, Trivikrama, and Tripurantaka, all the three together. And it also is the cusp of the Pradosham. This we discussed during omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotence. Yesterday was Bhuvaneshwari Jayanti, Bhuvanas, all the 14 different stratas, that beautiful divine presence that is present through the three and the entire Bhuvanas, Tripura Sundari. Yesterday also happened to be Vamana Jayanti, which is celebrated as the Onam across celebration of Trivikrama, the one who has pervaded the context of the three worlds. Actually, he required only 2 steps for the entire world, and the third step is the step that enables us to surrender at his feet, Atmanivedanam. Out of all the Navavidha bhaktis, the 9 bhaktis, yesterday we were listening to a beautiful discourse by Bhagavan as part of our center celebration of this Bhuvaneshwari Jayanti, the Vamana Jayanti, and also yesterday was Moharram, the beginning of the new year for the Muslims all over the world. And this Islam is annihilation of the mind, which is related to the context of Tripurantaka. We are thinking these are festivals related to our own little aspect of our religion, no? We are thinking, how does a Muslim care about a Vamana Jain? How does a Hindu care about a Muharram? If you think so, you are still an individual and you are not a human being. What we are studying this Sri Rudram is to become a human being first. Forget about becoming divine. To shed the animal qualities and to be human. Being a human breaks all the shackles associated with the individual presence. Because as a human being, we begin to feel together, we begin to see together, we begin to work together. The entire essence of spirituality is just that. Who cares if you are as an individual, you are a realized mukta or jivan mukta? What does that really mean? It doesn't mean anything that as an individual, if you are realized, nothing, zero, zip, because you're truly not realized. Yesterday there was a question that came asking what is a Buddha and what is a Mukta. The true liberation is the liberation from the individual shackles, and that individual shackles, when they are broken, then together we are present in this divine light as the Buddha. Liberation from this individual I, from the intellect that is only seeing the self, is buddhi. When that I expanded to all in an atmic consciousness, the buddhi became Buddha. Then the true journey of life begins. From that point of Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Nirmala Swarupinam. Life doesn't stop after realization. In fact, it begins after realizing who you are. So, our journey through this ninth Anuvakam, the journey has begun. This is the true journey. This is the parikrama. This is the pradakshina. Dakshina, pradakshina. Every word that is spoken is in itself a divine contemplation. Don't get lost in intellectualization. This what we are calling as emptying the me. The emptying the me has happened all the way through seventh Anuvaka. And in the eighth Anuvaka, you have completely emptied yourself. What is that? What does that mean? Emptying myself. This emptying myself, what happens after emptying yourself? In that emptiness, when it is completely emptied, then you shall begin to feel the fullness. This fullness is different from the fullness that you have observed before, where you are still caught up in the dimension of individual perceptions, images, pre-programmings. Are you all with me, or am I talking to myself? Which happens a lot.
Yes, yeah, still you.
We are here.
With you.
We are all together on this journey, the parikrama around Arunachala, the parikrama around Kailas. Now the parikrama has begun, not as individual, but as a human being it has begun. The true yajna happens only in that context. And when this journey yesterday we were referring to, in this journey, you truly experience the Shiva or the Sri. the Shiva or the Sri. The Shiva or the Sri, where the four, this is the Ashtadala Padma emanating from this Shiva or the Sri. From this point where you are present, how many petals are there? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 petals. The 8-petaled lotus. And each of these, from the center now, your journey is starting. And this journey is a different journey where you're manifesting serenity, purity, safety, restfulness, security, auspiciousness, liberation, and peace. And we went through the first 4 yajus that are related to Irinyaya, Prapathyaya, Kigumsilaya, Shayanaya, Kapardinecha, Pulastayecha, Goshtyaya, Gruhyaya, Talpyaya, Gehyaya, Katyaya, Gakvareshtaya. And in this context, one of this restfulness, Vishranti, Prashanti, probably that Prashanti is probably more appropriate than Vishranti. What is Prashanti? We are interpreting Shanti, peace. The translation of the word Shanti is peace. What is the transliteration of the word Prashanti? What is Prashanti?
Eternal peace.
Supreme peace.
Gives to peace to everything around, to people, animals, everything. It eliminates the peace that it is. That's why Swami's Mandiram is Prasanti. Everybody goes with Ashanti and get Prasanti and come back and again get into Ashanti.
Whenever the word pra is used, it actually generally connotates the expansion or manifestation. That peace now, it is not just at an individual level. The peace that is now manifested all around from that center. So this journey begins in the context of the spiritual journey, now radiates this peace from within, and that radiation of that peace from within is independent of the surroundings and the circumstances, independent of whether you are present in a goshta, a cowshed, or a griha, a home, a talpya, a nice bed, gehya, a palace, katya, a thorny jungle, or gahvareshta, mountain cave, does not matter. Where you are present, this peace is present. This is the presence in peace. Prashanti is the presence in peace. The unchanging, the changeless in the changing. That's the theme that we are looking at here. The changeless in the changing. Everything around is changing. But this peace, the prashanti within, it is not temporary. It is the changeless peace in the changing pieces. It is the peace independent of the pieces. The changeless in the changing. As we expand into this, then we are touching upon the other aspects of manifestation of the presence from this point of view of Shiva or Sri. Hradayaya Niveshpyaya Pam Savyaya Rajasyaya. Now prostrations, do not forget the word Namaha, prostrations or salutations. Shushkya, Haritya, Lopya, Ulapya, Urvya, Surmya, Parnya, Parnasedya. That is where, until number 10, Lopya, Ulapya, is where the first suktam is ending. Hradaya. In this context, Hridaya is not the Hridaya that we are commonly interpreting as the spiritual heart. In this context, the meaning is a whirlpool. Prostrations to him or to that who is or which is in deep whirlpool and in dewdrops, niveshpya. Prostrations to that which is or whom, doesn't matter, the gender doesn't matter, to that which is in atoms, Pam Savya. Of course, when we chant, it is Pagum Savya because of Anuswara. Rajasya means and in dust. In whirlpool and in dewdrops, in atoms and in dust. In Shushkya, in a matter which is dry, and Haritya, in which that is green. Harita means green, Haritya means which, what is green or whichever is green. Lopya means in grass, and Ulapya, where nothing grows. Now, when we are looking at these aspects, apparently opposites, like you see, completely dry, completely green, where life exists, where nothing exists, and in turbulent whirlpool, and in completely serene dewdrops, and in atoms and in dust. Urvya, Urvi is earth. Urvya means in the earth. Surmya means gallant, waved rivers, gushing rivers. Parnya in fresh leaves. Parnasedya means in heaps of dry leaves. Then we get into the second suktam of ninth Anuvakam. Apaguramanaya. One who has an uplifted weapon. Abhignate, who strikes in defense. Akhidate, one who afflicts the enemies mildly. Prakhidate, and as well as severely. Now, what are you thinking suddenly? Where are we shifting from all of this changeless in the changing into all this violence, so called? So, this is where as I keep saying in these satsangs, Hridaya is turbulence, dewdrop is pleasant. Atom is subtle, dust is gross. Shushkya, haritya. Sushkya means done with life. Haritya is still very lively. Lopya, obvious in creation. Ulapya, inferential, that is hidden. Surmya means hollow. Urvya means solid. Parnya is faithful. Parnasedya, fallen from the faith. Perhaps I should stop really explaining, elaborating, so that you are beginning to see the same on how this beautiful changeless in the changing. Now you see we are trying to look at things independent of their apparent opposite statuses. We are beginning to connect and accept everything in the context of peace, serenity, accepting everything independent of whether they are turbulent or pleasant, whether they are subtly manifested or grossly manifested, whether you watch something that is completely lively or you watch something that seems to have retired from life, whether it is obvious, patent, or whether it is latent, whether you feel something is hollow or you feel it is solid, whether you see those that are faithfully connected or those that have fallen from those faith, does not matter. Whether somebody is religious or whether somebody is agnostic, whether somebody is praying or not praying, that doesn't affect you. That doesn't affect the I am. What it means is that you are simply aware and you do not execute a choice in that awareness. How many types of choices you make? Likes, dislike, like-minded, unlike-minded, this and that. Somebody who is non-religious, we look at them and say, how can they be like that? I am holier than them. I do my daily prayer. I do my Rudram chanting every day. And this, it doesn't matter what you observe. You are simply aware. And in that awareness, when you are observing things, what do? You do not execute a choice. And this choiceless awareness is what this spiritual journey is about. Are you with me? This is such a powerful presence.
Saram Shekhar, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So this doesn't this somewhat drive us towards being, say, callous or careless, or become like a rock? Because it says, well, if you're in a whirlpool, don't worry about it. If you're in a smooth river, it's the same. Isn't it kind of somehow making us or pushing us towards
Insensitivity.
Yes, that's the
Yes.
question.
Yes. Very beautiful question. How do you differentiate between somebody who is insensitive to somebody who is spiritually active and sensitive? This is a very beautiful question. When we are talking about choiceless awareness, what is that human value which is aware of the self in everything but doesn't execute choice? What is that called?
Is this similar to Sthita Prajna that in Bhagavad Gita?
Don't get lost in words. Don't
Okay.
get lost in. Don't try to correlate this to some other word, Amma. You are. Don't worry about what those words don't matter. The scriptural words don't matter. Be present to what we are really seeing. Be present to that. Don't try to correlate. Is this what that is? Is this what this is? Don't try to correlate. Be present. Look at it. When we are referring to something called judgmentless awareness of the self, that you are seeing yourself in something, but you do not judge it. You don't execute a choice.
That is consciousness. That is consciousness.
Himsa. Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Unconditional love. There is no condition of the awareness. It's unconditioned love. It's pure love. Is pure love active are inert.
It's super active, Shekhar. Super active.
That is what we are talking about here. It is not insensitivity. That is what I started in the preamble as a human being. If you are at individual level, you execute choices. I like this, I dislike this, I love this, I hate this, I want this, I don't want this, I that. And that I is constantly executing choices conditioned by the previous images, the previous predicaments, the previous judgments, the previous experiences, the previous everything that has been pre-programmed forever. But if you look at something as simply being aware of it, but yet not insensitive about it, not inert about it, then what happened? You are experiencing supreme, unconditional, pure love.
Sairam, if you start from the beginning itself, that Rudram is all about only Swami existing, we don't exist, then this Anuvakam clearly says how differently Swami existing. That's all. We are just viewing how differently the existence of Swami in different forms, different shapes, different everything. So if everything is Swami, there is no difference in between that. Swami small, Swami big, Swami this, Swami that, Swami this, Swami that. If everything is Swami, what difference does it make? So if we are trying to get out of I, but when we introduce I, we always have a problem. So only if Swami exists, we don't exist, life becomes extremely simple.
Yes, that is pure love. We are now entering into this each aspect of what we are now, different facets that are manifested in this journey from the center until 7th, 8th Anuvakam, it is from outer to inner. From here, it is inner to outer. This is the inner parikrama. And this inner, I think the most important thing to be reminded of is that this is not philosophy. This is not some esotericism, and it is here and now. Whatever we have been studying and looking at, there is nothing here that is take you into some kind of an out of the body experience or an out of the body presence or out. It is all in here.
Sairam, thank you very much. Yesterday, I watched the Anuvakam explanation again late evening, and it kept ringing in my ears about the lotus that it has a lot of inner meaning to it, in a sense. So, it really depicts the divinity, whatever we are talking about it now. So you have it's not an easy task, but at the same time, you have to be divine yourself in order to experience that.
Well, you are not otherwise. That is the whole point of Vedanta, is that you are not otherwise. You are programmed to think otherwise, and therefore the journey to inside is to shed all that stuff you have been told, that you have to be this, you have to be that. We get imposed with all that stuff, and therefore we are believed you are not that. It's like that story of the lion and the sheep that Bhagavan Ramakrishna, which you all know. I don't want to repeat that. How you get tricked into becoming a sheep even though you are a lion. The point of spirituality is to first shed that, but it doesn't stop there. It does not stop there. How do we then exist in that awareness of what is a beautiful word that just occurred is choiceless awareness. Choiceless awareness. The awareness is still there and it is very much manifest. The relative world has not disappeared. It very much exists. You wake up in the morning, it is absolutely the same home, the same people. You go to work, it is the same people. It is the same thing that you are constantly dealing with. But in dealing with those conflicts, now you begin to deal with them as a human being. You begin to deal with them not as an individual, but as a human being. Now that is where the essence of the human values come into picture. Because as a human being, we all subject to similar type of pains, pleasures, dualities, opposites, feelings, everything. It's experienced as the same. Now you begin to connect to the human pain and suffering and everything. They have not disappeared. They're there. You are not going to say that I am suddenly divine, therefore I am beyond all these things. If you did that, you are not a genuine spiritual being. You are not a genuine spiritual being. In spite of that divinity in that body, 5'3" Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, he came out in a wheelchair and gave darshan. Yes, you can see that body walking much slower. Yes, you can see that, but that body was a human body. But the being is the divine being. And hence Swami said, we are spiritual beings in a human body, but the experience of the human body, the human mind, the human suffering, the human opposites, all of those have not disappeared. They are existing. Hridayaya cha niveshpyaya cha pamsavyaya cha rajasyaya cha shushkyaya cha harityaya cha lopyaya ulapyaya urvyaya surmyaya parnyaya parnasedyaya. All those are existing. But now in that existence, you have a choice. You have a choice to execute, and that choice is only awareness, that choice is not about anything else. That choice is conditioned only by love, and the choice is conditioned by the only thing called I am. And this I am is constant, it is unchanging. But everything after that I am is changing. I am reading, I am walking, I am eating, I am sleeping, I am awake, I am this, I am that, I am. The I am is the human being, and everything else is different. Yes, go ahead, Sairam.
Saram Shekhar, sorry for asking too many questions there.
No, this is about questions.
So the choiceless awareness, which you are saying should be is the default state, but well, I'm making a choice right now to unmute and ask a question, isn't it?
Yes,
So
sir.
it seems like our existence is always at a choice level. How does one exist at a choiceless awareness level, since our day-to-day is simply a sequence of choices?
Yes. Okay. That's another very practical, pragmatic question. Am I not making choices? Am I have a lunch. Do you want to eat dosa or do you want to eat rice? Choice. I have to make a choice so that my wife can accordingly prepare. Is a choice. You're asked to make a choice. I am not talking about that type of choices where you have to use the context of something that does not truly create an impression on you. The awareness is not impacted by making such choices. If it made an impact, I asked you last month on a Thursday, what did you have for breakfast? Unless you are the only guy that eats cereal every day, so it makes an impression on you, will not even remember. On your 20th birthday, where did you have your lunch? Of course, you made a choice on your 20th birthday whether to go out eat with friends or to have lunch at home, but it did create an impression on you. However, on your 20th birthday, somebody came to your birthday party, called you an idiot. Oh, idiot, you turned 20-year-old today. Do you remember that person? I would say 99.99% impressions are retained. And if you retained that impression, you made a choice. To retain that impression in your awareness, your chitta is impacted by that impression. Somebody praised on your 50th birthday. Wow, you are 50 years old, but you look damn 18-year-old. You remember that person forever. That person complimented me that I looked like an 18-year-old, even though I am 50-year-old. Did you make
Thank
a
you for saying that, Shekhar. I appreciate it.
some impression obviously occurred on your 50th birthday, I'm sure.
No, thank you. That makes it a little more clear.
Yeah. So this choiceless awareness is about you are not impacted, or there is no impression that is retained at individual level, and it exists beyond that. Yes. Any other question?
Anna, just to clarify, is the stillness, whether it is a criticism or it is a praise, your stillness will associate it to this?
You can look at it that way. But here we are talking about that stillness we talked about is from coming from outside to inside. Now we are talking about we are at the source, and now you are taking now is it kind of it's a very good observation. Didn't we study this before? Didn't we talk about this before? Yes. Now from ninth Anuvakam onwards, you will see there are some connectivities to what you observed before, but now this journey is from inside to outside. That journey was from outside to inside. Of course, in that path, you will observe the same, some themes that would be common to both. Yes, is it impacting your stillness? But now what I'm talking about is that stillness is stillness of your mind. And here you are actually operating from that inner source to outside. All of that is gone, but still that I am awareness is the common awareness. Yes, Sairama, it is. You can think about stillness being affected as stones thrown into a lake that is still.
Yeah. Sai Ramana.
Sai Ramande, Sujata. The choiceless awareness you're talking about makes you a human being with human values. Then the pain and suffering of others will be felt by you. Then you have to do something about it. If somebody hurts you, you're going to react and do something about it. And so you do that same thing when you watch in other people and feel it, then you're making a choice to act on it. How is that choiceless awareness?
When you act on something, love, as I said, is not inert. Love is not making a choice. Love is. When you spontaneously choose to help somebody that is in a pain or a suffering, anything that you are making a choice is about the result, but not the action. That choice which does not focus on the result, but simply is love. Most of the time, we make choices based on the expectation of some result. I see suffering of a person. What is the outcome of it if I help this person? That is not choiceless awareness, because you are still making a choice on what is the impact of the service that I do to this person. This love we are talking about, choiceless awareness. If you make choice as a kama or a desire, nishkama karma is love. Action without expectation or a choice is also love. Love does not mean inaction. Love means action. Love is spontaneous in action. Love doesn't make a choice of a result of an action. Love simply gives and forgives. Otherwise, the self gets and forgets.
Thank you. That helps. Doesn't Swami say love in action is divine?
Yes. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, we have a minute left. And obviously, I don't know if people are paying attention to the synopsis or not. It appears that maybe if you're not getting the synopsis or emails, please let me know. Maybe you are not part of the Veda study group. I have put the new Zoom link before, and still many people did not notice it because I did not explicitly. I also mentioned last week the Zoom link is changing. So be present to this satsang. Be present. I know it's hard, and lot of it. Parnyayacha parnasadhyayacha. Lot of leaves and flowers will fall from the tree, and that is completely fine, because the stuff what we are really it is intense. It's truly intense, and it may make your mind feel like totally intimidated. Oh my God, what did I miss? All of that will happen. Don't get intimidated by this. If you did and you dropped away from the satsang, I sure know that you have a choice, but this is choiceless awareness.
Saram Shekhar, one last question. So got the distinction between dosa and cereal for breakfast, and that is a impressionless choice. Whereas somebody calling me a fool on my 50th or calling me beautiful on my 50th is potentially an impressionful event. So it's kind of almost impossible not to react to somebody who calls me a fool. Just it seems almost like if somebody steps on your toe, you just are going to react. It's emotionally, if somebody assaults you in a certain way, that reaction is almost as natural as somebody stepping on your toe. So how does one make that impression less? Because it seems like it's just laden with impression.
Perfect entrance to the next suktam. Apaguramanaya abhignatecha akhidatecha prakhidatecha. Those four will cover your question. Let's stay tuned. Yeah, somebody brought up JK. Yes, you will find in Rudram the essence of every single teaching that has existed before, that will exist eternally. Yes, you will connect to a J.D. Krishnamurti, you will connect to a Dalai Lama, you will connect to a Dana Gillespie, you will connect to a lot of, yes, fantastic. All those things are true, they are found in Rudram. In fact, any human instinct experience that is noticed, unnoticed, consciously present and absent shall be found in the Vedanta and will be found in the Vedas, because the word Veda means awareness. Vid means awareness. Yes. Thank you for, I may not have heard a JDK or a Dana Gillespie or any of these people. I'm glad you are bringing those and you are connecting to those. You will find everything here. Is being a human and I am is all about equanimity. Is being a human and I am is all about equanimity. Equanimity is a dimension of feeling or a thought. But a human and I am is not just about equanimity in feeling or a thought. It's much bigger than that, much beyond that, a single dimension. That's the reason why when somebody brought up the word sthita prajna is the awareness in the context of beyond judgment. Sthita means stable or stillness. That's why the words, when you connect to some impression created by somebody, that's good. It brings back that impression. More than connecting to this is what somebody else said, this is what Shekharji said, this is what Swami said, this is what somebody else said. That part of it is good because it is connecting you, but more important is presence to your own connectivity to these things. That is true study. This is called adhyayana, means how are you independent of everything else that is said or being referred to, all the pre-programming that has happened with a scripture, with a dictum, with a religion, with a guru, with everything that has been bombarded on you. All of that is good, and all of that is bringing you to the zone. But do not worry about those words. Leave them and look at something. Look at something as a human being, together. Sahana Vavatu, together. And that's where satsang is very powerful, because now you are not listening to this body. This body is simply giving you pointers, but don't get worried about what I said. See it yourself. Because what is being said by the speaker, 100% guaranteed, must have been told somewhere by somebody else, etc. And that memory that is triggered in you is good, but don't get caught up in that memory. Be present in this moment. Is that making sense, Vijaya?
Sarah, yes.
Wonderful. Oh, I am 7 minutes over. Okay. Let's close with 9 samastas. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु 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 समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Jai Sai Ram. Have a wonderful week.
Sai Ram and Shekar.
Ram.